Will it help or harm the livestock industry? Lawmakers advance a controversial proposal. Plus, young farmers and future farmers. We look at young people with a passion for agriculture. Then, state and county fairs may change, but livestock is still a priority. And honoring a farm family at the White House, now we honor them. It's time to grow. A proposed livestock truck washout is going to court. The owners of the former Mid-Nebraska Speedway near Donovan are appealing after a permit for a livestock truck washout business was denied. A Fremont man says there's a need to clean manure from cattle trailers. Residents objected, saying it would bring traffic and odor. The Hall County attorney tells NTV he has no comments on the merits of the appeal. Lawmakers in the nation's capital are debating a proposal to scrap the RFS. The National Wheat Growers Association calls it an attack. Late last year, the EPA announced the requirements fall nearly 5 billion gallons short of the standard mandated by Congress. Many fear that would lessen the demand for ethanol. For now, any amendment to change the standard is in initial debate, and it's unclear how far it will go in the Senate. And Nebraska lawmakers advance a controversial proposal that would allow meat packers to own livestock. The bill still faces one more round of debate and a final vote before heading to the governor. The pork producers say the practice is common in other states and would encourage expansion in the pork industry. Farmers Union and Bold, Nebraska both oppose the bill and question Smithfield, the Chinese-owned company, for recent campaign contributions to Nebraska senators. Those groups say this will hurt family farms. Trade and bioscience will be the focus at this year's Governor's Ag Conference. The idea is to spark conversation about the future of Nebraska agriculture.
It gives people a chance to network with colleagues, share ideas and concerns, and learn more about the future of ag. It's also a great opportunity for Nebraska's farmers, ranchers, and agricultural leaders and key agribusiness managers to give me their input on how to maintain forward momentum for Nebraska's ag industry.
The conference is set for March 2nd and 3rd at the Holiday Inn and Convention Center in Kearney. Land prices and property taxes are up while crop prices are down. Where does that leave the next generation for Nebraska's agriculture industry? Farmers are getting older. We know we need to bring young people back to the farm and ranch. Last week, Farm Bureau held its Young Farmers and Ranchers Conference in North Platte. The event's theme, Keeping Agriculture on Track, was geared at the farmers of the future despite the current economic climate.
We are at a great need for young farmers, but we're also at a great need for families to work with their young people to get them started, because it's very difficult to get started. It's a very, very expensive field to get into as far as a new business goes.
We know where we're at. We know the direction we're going. We just need to make sure that we keep going in a positive direction. And so there's resources available for these young producers to move forward and enhance what they're doing or do a better job of what they're doing.
Governor Pete Ricketts was the keynote speaker. More young ag leaders tackling a big problem. Nebraska, obviously a world leader in food production, yet many kids right here in the Cornhusker State don't know where their next meal will come from. And it struck a Bassett teen in an unlikely place.
While some kids dream of football glory, Kate Osmond has a different plan to change the world that also started with a trip to Memorial Stadium just after she studied food and poverty.
Noticing how much money people were donating to football, and I just gotten back from the World Food Prize, and just to see the immense money distribution problems there.
The problem is food security. Kids without adequate and nutritious food, and it's not just a third world problem.
It doesn't happen in my town, but really it does. It happens all the time to everyone.
Whether or not you realize that it's in your community or not, it certainly is. And even in Nebraska, we're kind of like a mecca of food production. It exists right here. So it's a really important topic for these students to start thinking about. What can they do to solve food insecurity in their community?
What started a few years ago as an event for FFA kids has expanded to the Next Generation Leadership Summit and now includes 7 career organizations.
So this session, what we've called it is Lights, Camera, Action.
Many do come at it from a farm perspective.
Like the GMOs that can't be transported to like other countries because they don't want them, their government doesn't want them, they won't eat them. So I want to like make sure that they know like they're not harmful.
Kate Osmond of Bassett plans to go into hospitality, where food waste is a big problem she wants to tackle, while coordinating conferences just like this.
Planning events that would enrich kids' minds.
You may have to pay more to get inside the gates of the state fair this year. The fair board decided to bump up admission $2 more, but plan to have cheaper bundle packages for families. Other price hikes affect livestock and horse vehicle passes, as well as dairy fees. Another new addition to the state fair will be a dino exhibit, partnering with Omaha's Children's Museum.
The State Fair is so family friendly, as well as the Children's Museum. Our target markets are quite similar and our missions are quite similar. We work a lot on educating and entertaining and getting people excited about education.
A woolly mammoth will be one fossil which is native to Nebraska that will stay for 3 years. And a longtime advocate for agriculture is saying farewell to the State Fair Board. After 9 years, Janet Kruger's term has come to an end. She pushed to put agriculture at the heart of the fair and played a big role in the move to Grand Island.
Instead of being on the outskirts of the buildings, and to just see agriculture, which is our #1 commodity in the state, is agriculture, and to see it really grow and see people come together, it's just been awesome.
At the county fair, too, fair managers stressed the importance of agriculture. While county fairs continue to be family-oriented entertainment, they're also an important avenue to promote the agriculture industry.
Well, it's the heart of America. I mean, it's educational. When it comes to agriculture, it's one of the best ways that we can educate the next generation of people about how food's grown. You know, that's our main goal with county fairs.
Kruger, the husband of outgoing State Fair Board member Janet Kruger, adds the future of county fairs is getting stronger, and it's important for fairs to offset the negative publicity associated with agriculture, such as the treatment of animals and food growth. As for managing your egg operation in these difficult economic times, NTV's Melissa Newman talked to the experts and has more.
Whether you're farming vegetables, grain, or cattle, many ag operations come down to the same thing: money. There's a multitude of ways to manage your money. One agricultural economist says it's important to set a budget with realistic goals.
So you need to consider also the amount of resources you have available. There's some people that have water allocations and they only have so much water. Well, you don't want to be setting a yield goal that's higher than the amount of water that you would have available. Because if you buy fertilizer for that, you're just wasting your money on fertilizer that's never going to get used, because the water is going to limit your production. So your yield goals need to match really closely.
But what if you've got your eyes on a new piece of technology for your operation? Stockton says make sure you're getting just as much value out of it as you put in.
If it gives me a lot of extra time and I'm able to produce the crop, because I'm monitoring, I'm using less water, and I'm saving the money there, and then I'm saving time, and I'm being more productive, and that adds up to more, or at least as much as I paid for it, then it's a good buy. But if it doesn't add up as much as then it's probably not a good buy.
As for Stockton's #1 tip, always prepare for the worst.
And I think what you have to be is conservative, and you have to look at things, okay, if the worst case scenario and the best case scenario. And so where do I think it's going to be? And realize that you probably need to manage, things a little bit for if things aren't as well as you think.
Follow these tips and your financial future is certain to be as bright as the fields you're working on.
Another management tool, keeping an eye on supply. A drop in cattle numbers and some changes in milk and egg production. Here's Marylyn with a glance at the latest USDA reports.
Steve, a few changes to note. A drop in cattle numbers and shifts in milk and egg production. We'll start first of all with cattle. Nebraska Cattle on Feed report showing inventory down 2% from last year. Placements for December up 1%. As for milk production, 340 million pounds recorded in Nebraska from October to December. That's up 12% compared to 2014. The average number of milk cows, 58,000 head. Nebraska chicken and egg production took quite a hit. There were about 2 million fewer laying hens in 2015. Egg production, of course, suffered 80 million fewer eggs in December 2015 compared to December 2014. Remember, you can find all these numbers and more data on the USDA website. Steve, back to you.
Thanks, Marilyn. Livestock loss from barn fires that could be prevented. Some reminders after the break. And later on, a Nebraska family wants to help improve your soil. We'll be right back.